The Dominion's first message arrived on a Tuesday morning, broadcasting simultaneously across every screen and communication device on Earth. The aliens' crystalline faces, geometric and coldly beautiful, flickered as they delivered their assessment of humanity. Primitive, unworthy of notice, barely worth the energy expended to send this transmission. Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Council, her weathered face illuminated by the holographic replay of that first contact. 6 months had passed since the Dominion ships had appeared at the edge of our solar system, their massive vessels gleaming with an otherworldly purple sheen that defied known physics. 6 months of watching, listening, and learning as they systematically catalogued our civilization. They designated us as a Class 7 species, Chen reported, her voice steady despite the weight of the words. In their hierarchy that places us somewhere between pre-industrial civilizations and animals bred for entertainment, the council chamber, buried 2 kilometers beneath the Himalayas, remained silent. 50 of humanity's leaders sat in contemplation, their faces reflecting the same mix of humiliation and quiet rage that had spread across the planet since the Dominion's arrival. Their ships, Chen continued, activating a new hologram, operate on principles that make our most advanced technology look like stone tools. They manipulate quantum fields as easily as we bend metal. Their smallest scout vessel could likely destroy our entire orbital defense network. Chancellor Adebayo leaned forward, his fingers steepled. And yet they haven't. They mock us, but they don't attack. Why? Because we're not worth the ammunition. Dr. Yuki Tanaka stepped forward from the shadows, her quantum physics credentials floating beside her image in the Council's augmented reality displays. They see us as primitives putting on airs of civilization. Our rockets amuse them. Our attempts at quantum technology. She paused, a slight smile playing at her lips. Well, they find those particularly entertaining. Entertaining enough to keep watching, Chen added, sharing a knowing look with Tanaka. Their observation posts at the system's edge have maintained constant surveillance since their arrival. Chancellor Adebayo stood, his massive frame casting a shadow across the chamber's central platform. Then perhaps it's time we gave them something worth watching. Dr. Tanaka, would you like to share what you and your team have been working on since before our visitors arrived? Tanaka's smile widened as she approached the holographic display. With a gesture, she brought up an image that made several council members gasp. It showed a seemingly empty section of space near Jupiter, but as the image enhanced and filtered through various spectrums, a shape emerged, sleek, deadly, and completely invisible to conventional sensors. Project Phantom, Tanaka announced. 5 years ago, we detected quantum fluctuations that suggested advanced civilizations might exist. We began developing technology to hide from them. Not with conventional stealth, but by manipulating the very fabric of space-time around our ships. The hologram shifted, showing the technical specifications of a vessel that shouldn't have been possible with Earth's supposed level of technology. The Dominion believes they can read our every move, see our every advance. They monitor our public research channels, our visible shipyards, our official space programs. But they never thought to look for what isn't there. Admiral Chen stepped forward again. We've maintained the facade they expect, continuing to launch chemical rockets, celebrating small achievements in conventional spaceflight. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the asteroid belt, in underground facilities across Earth, and in the hidden shipyards of Europa, we've been building something they can't imagine. A quantum fleet, Tanaka finished. Ships that don't just evade detection. They exist in a state of quantum uncertainty. Until observed directly, they are, for all practical purposes, not there at all. The council chamber erupted in murmurs as the implications sank in. Humanity had been playing a long game, one that started before the Dominion even arrived. And the best part, Chen's voice cut through the chatter. They're so convinced of our primitive status that they've been broadcasting their own quantum communications protocols in the clear. Every message of mockery, every transmission belittling our achievements, has taught us more about their technology. They'd been educating their future equals while believing they were simply amusing themselves with the antics of lesser beings. Chancellor Adebayo raised his hand for silence. "How long until the fleet is ready?" "3 months," Chen replied. "We have 12 ships now, with another 20 nearly complete, each one capable of matching a Dominion cruiser in combat." "And they won't see us coming," Tanaka added, her voice carrying a hint of satisfaction. "Not until we want them to. The question is, do we reveal ourselves now, or do we wait until they decide to do more than just mock?" The chamber fell silent again as the council considered the options. On the holographic display, the phantom ship shimmered like a mirage. There and not there, a promise of humanity's revenge against those who would dismiss them as insignificant. In high orbit, the Dominion's observation posts continued their vigilant watch, recording humanity's primitive activities with amused disdain. They never noticed the quantum distortions that signaled Earth's ships moving into position, preparing for the day when humanity would show the galaxy exactly how wrong they were to underestimate us. The quantum development complex beneath the Australian outback resembled a cathedral built by mathematicians. Vast arrays of crystalline computers lined the walls, their structures mimicking the same patterns Dr. Tanaka had first observed in the quantum realm 15 years ago. She stood in the central chamber now, watching as her international team of scientists prepared for their most ambitious test yet. "Field integrity at 98%, called out Dr. Marcus Singh from his station. His fingers danced across holographic controls, adjusting variables that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Quantum coherence holding steady. In the center of the chamber, suspended in a containment field, a sphere of pure darkness hung like a hole in reality. It wasn't merely dark, it was an absence, a place where light and matter forgot to exist. This was the heart of Project Phantom, the breakthrough that would change humanity's place in the galaxy. The Dominion's patrol just passed overhead. Dr. Elena Rodriguez reported from the monitoring station. Their sensors show nothing. As far as they're concerned, this facility is still an abandoned mining complex. Tanaka allowed herself a small smile. Above them, one of the most advanced civilizations in known space continued their regular surveillance, their ships bristling with sensors that could detect a single atom out of place from orbit. Yet they saw nothing of the quantum revolution happening beneath their instruments. "Begin Phase 3, Tanaka ordered. "Full field expansion." The sphere of darkness began to grow, its edges rippling like oil on water. This was the moment of truth, the scaling of their quantum displacement field from laboratory experiment to practical application. If it worked, they would have proof that their theories could protect not just data or small objects, but entire ships. "Dr. Tanaka," a voice called from the doorway. Admiral Chen entered the chamber, accompanied by a tall figure that made every scientist in the room straighten their backs. Director James Harper, the architect of humanity's hidden space program, rarely left his command center in Lunar Base Alpha. "Director," Tanaka acknowledged, "you're just in time. We're about to attempt full-scale field generation." Harper's weathered face remained impassive as he studied the expanding sphere. The Dominion's latest transmission was particularly condescending. They've officially designated Earth as a quaint evolutionary backwater. Their anthropologists are writing papers about us. "Let them write," Chen said, her eyes fixed on the quantum field. "Every word they transmit tells us more about their communications technology. Dr. Rodriguez has already reverse-engineered 3 of their encryption protocols." The sphere continued to grow until it filled nearly half the chamber. Inside its boundary, light and matter behaved according to rules that the Dominion believed humanity couldn't begin to comprehend. They were right, in a way. Humanity couldn't have understood these principles if they had approached them from the Dominion's direction. "We didn't try to copy their technology," Tanaka explained to Harper as they watched. "We developed something entirely new. They manipulate quantum fields from the outside. We learned to work from within them." A sudden shift in the field's color drew everyone's attention. The darkness began to shimmer with threads of light, like Aurora Borealis in miniature. Energy patterns stabilizing. Singh reported. Field coherence at 100%. We're ready for the insertion test. At Tanaka's nod, a small drone was moved into position near the field's edge. This was the crucial test, not just creating the quantum displacement, but moving matter through it safely. The Dominion ships used brute force to achieve their goals, Chen observed. Massive engines, powerful weapons, overwhelming shields. We had to find another way. The drone entered the field. For a moment, it seemed to stretch and distort, its edges becoming uncertain, its very existence becoming a question rather than a fact. Then it vanished completely. Drone status? Tanaka asked, her voice tight with anticipation. Maintaining quantum coherence, Rodriguez reported. Position uncertain by design. But, yes, we're receiving telemetry. The drone exists in a state of quantum superposition, effectively invisible to normal spacetime, until observation collapses its wave function. Harper finally allowed himself a small nod of approval. And the power requirements? Negligible compared to the Dominion's brute force methods, Singh answered. Their ships burn the energy of small stars to power their drives. Ours will slit between the spaces where energy itself has meaning. How soon can we scale this to ship size? Chen asked, already thinking of the vessels waiting in their hidden shipyards. Tanaka gestured at the field, which now filled most of the chamber with its shifting patterns of darkness and light. We already have. This field is large enough to envelop a destroyer. We've been running the tests in segments, piece by piece, to avoid drawing attention. Today's test proves we can maintain coherence at military scale. Harper's expression remained neutral, but his eyes gleamed with satisfaction. The Dominion believes they can read the book of our civilization's development. They don't realize we've been writing in invisible ink between the lines. A subtle vibration ran through the complex as another Dominion ship passed overhead, its sensors probing with all the sophistication of a civilization that had ruled the stars for millennia. Below, in a space that their sensors insisted was empty, humanity continued to forge its quantum path to the future. Begin shutdown sequence, Tanaka ordered. Prepare the data for transmission to the shipyards. It's time to move from theory to practice. As the quantum field collapsed with perfect precision, Harper turned to Chen. Have your crews ready. Once the ships are fitted with these quantum cores, we begin phase 2 of the operation, testing their capabilities against the Dominion's monitoring network. Chen asked. Harper's smile was cold. No, we're going to do something far more dangerous. We're going to let them keep believing they know exactly what we're capable of, right until the moment they don't. The Jupiter Orbital Mining Platform 47 appeared, to any watching eyes, to be just another unremarkable asteroid processing facility. Its surface was scarred and pitted, dotted with the primitive electromagnetic accelerators humanity used to launch processed ore toward Earth. Dominion survey ships passed it regularly, noting with amusement the inefficient methods the humans employed. They never saw what lay within. Captain Maya Wilson guided her shuttle through a quantum-shifted entry point that, to outside observers, looked like just another shadow on the asteroid's surface. As reality phased around her vessel, the true nature of Platform 47 revealed itself, humanity's largest hidden shipyard. The cavernous interior space stretched for kilometers, carved through the asteroid's core by automated mining systems that had been running for a decade before the Dominion's arrival. Massive construction bays lined the walls, each one holding a vessel that shouldn't have existed. Welcome back, Captain. The facility's AI greeted her as she docked. Director Harper is waiting in Bay 7. The Phantom Dawn is ready for your inspection. Wilson made her way through the facility's quantum-shifted corridors, passing hundreds of engineers and technicians working on various aspects of humanity's secret fleet. Each person here had been chosen not just for their skills, but for their ability to live double lives, maintaining normal jobs and appearances on Earth while contributing to humanity's greatest deception. Bay 7's massive doors parted to reveal humanity's newest warship, The Phantom Dawn hung in its construction cradle, its hull seeming to shift between states of existence even while at rest. Unlike the bulky, overtly powerful vessels of the Dominion, Earth's ships were elegant, almost organic in their design. They didn't need thick armor or massive engines. They slipped through the quantum fabric of space itself. Beautiful, isn't she? Director Harper stood at the observation window, studying the ship's final assembly, first of the Spectre class, twice the quantum field strength of our previous vessels, with integrated systems that can operate in multiple probability states simultaneously. Wilson joined him at the window. The Dominion's latest survey counted our solar system's military assets yesterday. They logged 47 chemical rockets, 12 orbital defense platforms, and 3 primitive fusion dry ships under construction in Earth orbit. And how many did they miss? 32 quantum-capable warships spread across 9 hidden facilities in the solar system. The Phantom Dawn makes 33. Harper nodded, satisfaction evident in his expression. Dr. Tanaka's breakthrough changed everything. The Dominion thinks they're watching us take our first tumbling steps into space, using technology they mastered millennia ago. They have no concept of what we've actually achieved. A group of technicians in quantum-shielded suits worked on the ship's outer hull, installing the latest generation of sensors, devices that could see without being seen, that could gather intelligence while existing in a state of quantum uncertainty. The latest intelligence from their communication network, Harper asked. Wilson pulled up a holographic display. They're debating whether to maintain their observation posts. Some of their scientists argue that watching humans develop spaceflight is like watching plants grow. Technically interesting, but extremely time-consuming. Others want to stay, finding our primitive attempts at civilization entertaining. Perfect, Harper smiled. The more they dismiss us, the more freedom we have to operate. How are the crew adaptations progressing? Wilson gestured to another part of the facility, where teams of pilots and officers trained in simulators. The human mind isn't naturally equipped to handle quantum uncertainty, but Dr. Rodriguez's neural interface system is allowing our crews to perceive and operate in quantum-shifted space. We're achieving synchronization rates above 90% now. A subtle vibration ran through the facility. Another Dominion survey ship passing nearby. Within the quantum-shifted space of Platform 47, no one paused in their work. They were used to their invisible existence. The Phantom Dawn's quantum core is different, Harper noted, pointing to the ship's central section. Tell me about the modifications. Dr. Tanaka calls it quantum nesting, Wilson explained. The ship can generate multiple layers of uncertainty fields. In theory, it could appear to be in one location, while actually operating in several others simultaneously. Even if the Dominion detects one field, they'll have no way to know about the others. And the weapons systems. Wilson's expression turned serious. That's where Dr. Singh's work comes in. We're not trying to match the Dominion's brute force approach. Our weapons operate on the quantum level. They don't destroy targets so much as alter their probability of existence. Harper raised an eyebrow. You're telling me we can make their ships simply stop existing? In a manner of speaking, we can shift them into probability states where their systems fail, where their weapons don't fire, where their shields protect against threats that no longer exist. It's not about matching their power. It's about changing the rules of engagement entirely. Below them, the Phantom Dawn's quantum core pulsed with energy, creating ripples in reality that the Dominion sensors interpreted as normal background radiation. The ship was nearly ready for its first full power test, another milestone in humanity's secret ascension to the stars. Tomorrow's test will be crucial, Harper said. The Phantom Dawn needs to prove it can operate completely undetected within 50 kilometers of a Dominion warship. If we can achieve that, then we're ready, Wilson finished. Ready to show the galaxy that humanity isn't just stumbling into space. We're rewriting the laws that govern it. A technician approached with a data pad, and Wilson recognized the quantum encryption protocols displayed on its screen. Message from Admiral Chen, sir. The Dominion's Council has made their decision. They're reducing their observation force by 60%, citing lack of significant developmental progress on humanity's part. Harper's laugh was quiet but genuine. They're going to regret that assessment. Captain, prepare your crew. In 3 days, we begin Operation Quantum Echo. It's time to show the Dominion exactly what they've been failing to observe. Above them, the Phantom Dawn hung in its cradle, a ship that existed between the moments of conventional reality, humanity's answer to a galaxy that had underestimated them for the last time. The Dominion warship Eternal Radiance hung in high Earth orbit like a jeweled sword, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight in complex patterns. On its command deck, High Observer Vaxter watched the primitive human vessels below with growing boredom. After 6 months of reduced observation, even the entertainment value of watching humanity's clumsy attempts at spaceflight had worn thin. Another chemical rocket launch, Exalted One, his sensor officer reported. Trajectory suggests a crude attempt to reach their red neighbor world. Vaxter's crystalline features arranged themselves into the Dominion's equivalent of a condescending smile, recorded for the xenological archives. Future scholars may find some value in studying how primitive species waste resources on inefficient propulsion methods. The sensor officer's response died in his throat as every instrument on the Eternal Radiance suddenly went dark. For a fraction of a second, the entire ship experienced what could only be described as a reality flutter, as if the universe had blinked. When the sensors came back online, they showed something impossible. The Phantom Dawn materialized 50 kilometers off the Eternal Radiance's port bow, seeming to coalesce from the fabric of space itself. It wasn't alone. Across Earth orbit, 32 more ships phased into normal space, their quantum fields collapsing in a carefully choreographed sequence that made it appear as if reality itself was giving birth to a fleet. Impossible, Vaxter whispered, his crystalline form vibrating with shock. Their technology level, they couldn't. Dominion vessel Eternal Radiance. Captain Maya Wilson's voice came across all frequencies, transmitted in perfect Dominion protocol. This is the Earth Defense Force ship Phantom Dawn. We've been watching you watching us. Perhaps it's time we had a real conversation. The Phantom Dawn's hull shifted in ways that defied conventional physics, its surface seeming to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Sensor readings showed weapons that operated on principles the Dominion had never mastered. Systems that didn't just harness quantum mechanics, but rewrote them. Full scan. Vaxter ordered, his voice sharp with panic. I want to know everything about those vessels. Scans are uncertain. Exalted One, the sensor officer reported. The ships appear to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Every reading we take shows different results. It's as if they're everywhere and nowhere at once. In her command chair aboard the Phantom Dawn, Wilson watched the Dominion ship's futile attempts to analyze her vessel. Dr. Tanaka's theories had proven correct. The Dominion's reliance on brute force technology had left them blind to the subtle possibilities of quantum manipulation. They're signaling their other observation posts, her communications officer reported. But the quantum network is already in place. Their transmissions aren't reaching anyone. Wilson nodded. Across the solar system, every Dominion observation post was experiencing the same revelation. Earth's quantum fleet had positioned itself with perfect precision, emerging from their probability shells in a display of coordination that would have been impossible with conventional technology. Multiple weapon systems activating on the Eternal Radiance, Tactical reported. They're bringing their main gravity cannons online. Let them, Wilson said calmly, initiate quantum probability shift alpha. The Phantom Dawn's reality state altered slightly, and the Eternal Radiance's targeting systems suddenly found themselves tracking a ship that, from their perspective, had never existed in that location. Their weapons, designed to affect normal spacetime, were useless against vessels that could step sideways through probability itself. Dominion vessel, Wilson broadcast again. Your weapons cannot affect what they cannot definitively locate in spacetime. We suggest you reconsider your response. To demonstrate her point, 3 of Earth's ships performed a synchronized quantum shift that made them appear to phase through each other, a maneuver that sent waves of disbelief through the Dominion crew. Their entire understanding of physics argued that such movement should be impossible. How? Baxter's voice shook as he opened a channel. How long have you hidden this capability? Long enough to learn everything about your civilization, Wilson replied. Every transmission you sent, every survey you conducted, every moment you spent dismissing us as primitive. We were watching, learning, and advancing in ways your sensors couldn't detect. The Phantom Dawn's quantum core pulsed, and for a brief moment, the Dominion crew saw the true extent of Earth's hidden infrastructure. The massive shipyards, the research facilities, the quantum technology that permeated the entire solar system. Then it all vanished again, leaving them with the unsettling knowledge that humanity had built an advanced civilization right under their noses. Your council's decision to reduce observation forces was particularly helpful, Wilson continued. It gave us the freedom to accelerate our final preparations, though I suspect your superiors will be revising that decision shortly. Across Earth orbit, more human vessels were appearing. Support ships and defense platforms that had remained quantum shifted for months or years. Each one represented a capability the Dominion had never imagined humans possessing, each one a testament to humanity's ability to innovate in secret. The Eternal Radiance is powering up its drive system, Tactical reported. They appear to be preparing for emergency translation to hyperspace. Wilson smiled. Let them go. They have a message to deliver to their council. It's time the galaxy understood that humanity isn't just reaching for the stars. We're rewriting the rules by which they operate. As the Dominion ship fled at maximum acceleration, its crew struggling to process what they'd witnessed, Earth's quantum fleet began taking up defensive positions around the planet. The age of pretending to be primitive was over. Now came the challenging part, showing the galaxy that humanity was ready to take its place among the stars, not as subordinates, but as equals who had mastered physics in ways the Dominion had never imagined possible. The Dominion High Council chamber on Nexus Prime fell silent as the final images from the Eternal Radiance's encounter with Earth's quantum fleet played out before them. The crystalline beings who had governed known space for millennia sat motionless, their structures reflecting light in patterns that signaled deep disturbance. Impossible, First Speaker Zaxler finally declared, their form vibrating with barely contained emotion. A Class 7 species cannot simply skip thousands of years of technological development. And yet, Second Speaker Meyerthal countered, we have watched them do exactly that. Not through brute force advancement, but by finding paths we never thought to explore. The chamber's quantum displays showed multiple angles of Earth's fleet phasing in and out of conventional reality. Each replay caused subtle fractures of stress to appear in the counselors' crystalline forms. The humans hadn't just advanced, they had fundamentally changed the rules of space warfare. Meanwhile, in Earth orbit, Admiral Chen stood on the Phantom Dawn's observation deck, watching as the last of the quantum fleet's support vessels shifted into normal space. The reveal was complete. Humanity's hidden strength now stood in plain view of any watching eyes. The Dominion's long-range sensors are going crazy, Captain Wilson reported, joining her at the window. They've got at least 30 survey ships heading toward our system at maximum speed. Seems they want to verify the Eternal Radiance's report personally. Chen smiled. Let them come. Dr. Tanaka's team has already developed quantum communication protocols that make our old encryption methods look like smoke signals. We can coordinate our entire fleet faster than their ships can process a single sensor sweep. Deep within the Phantom Dawn, in a specially shielded conference room, Director Harper met with the United Earth Council via quantum-entangled hologram. The council members' expressions ranged from triumphant to concerned as they discussed humanity's next moves. The Dominion's Economic Council is in chaos, Chancellor Adebayo reported. Their entire market system was based on technological superiority. The mere possibility that we might share our quantum manipulation techniques with other primitive species has sent their trading networks into freefall. Good, Harper responded. Fear and greed are powerful motivators, but we're not interested in destroying their civilization, only in ensuring they never again mistake technological differences for superiority. In another part of the ship, Dr. Tanaka and her team were already working on the next generation of quantum technology. Holograms showed theoretical models of ships that could exist in even more simultaneous states, weapons that could rewrite local physics, and defensive systems that could shift entire planets into temporary quantum uncertainty if needed. Message from the Dominion High Council, Wilson announced over the ship's comm. They're requesting permission to send a diplomatic delegation to Earth. The irony of the moment wasn't lost on anyone. The same civilization that had dismissed humanity as barely worth studying was now asking for permission to visit. Terms? Chen asked. They want to discuss mutual technological exchange and the establishment of proper diplomatic relations between our civilizations. They're offering to recognize Earth as a Class 1 civilization with full voting rights in the Galactic Assembly. Harper's laugh echoed through the quantum channels. Tell them we'll consider their request after they've formally resigned every paper, report, and study their xenologists have written about humanity's primitive status. But it wasn't just the Dominion paying attention now. Across the galaxy, other civilizations were receiving the news. Species that had lived under Dominion technological supremacy for millennia suddenly saw hope in humanity's quantum leap. Already, encrypted messages were arriving from dozens of worlds, seeking alliances, trade agreements, and most importantly, the secret of how a primitive species had managed to rewrite the rules of physics while their observers weren't looking. In the ship's quantum physics lab, Dr. Rodriguez was showing her team the latest data from their probability sensors. Look at these patterns. She pointed to a complex display of interwoven quantum states. The Dominion builds their technology like they built their empire, through overwhelming force and rigid control. They never considered that the quantum realm might respond better to subtlety and suggestion. Speaking of suggestions, Wilson's voice came over the comm again. The Dominion's advanced diplomatic vessel will arrive in 6 hours. They're requesting demonstration of proper greeting protocols. Chen shared a look with Harper through the quantum link. Tell them we'll greet them according to Earth's protocols. Let them experience being the ones who have to adapt for a change. As the news spread across human space, celebrations broke out in cities worldwide. Quantum screens displayed images of Earth's fleet, no longer hidden, standing proud against the backdrop of space. Humanity had not just reached for the stars. They had found their own unique way to grasp them. In the Phantom Dawn's command center, Chen watched as more sensor contacts appeared at the edge of the system. Ships from various civilizations, all rushing to see the species that had achieved the impossible. Some came seeking knowledge, others confirmation, and still others looking for a potential ally against Dominion dominance. Interesting times ahead, Harper noted through the quantum link. We've changed the balance of power in the galaxy without firing a shot. No, Chen corrected him, watching as the Phantom Dawn's quantum core pulsed with possibilities. We've shown them that there never was a balance, just assumptions and arrogance. Now they have to deal with the reality that the universe is far more complex than they imagined. As Earth's quantum fleet maintained its vigilant watch, humanity prepared to step onto the galactic stage, not as supplicants or primitive curiosities, but as innovators who had seen the rules of the universe and chosen to rewrite them. The age of Dominion superiority was over. The age of quantum humanity had begun.